Hello crafty friends, this is Julia. Thank you so much for joining me for a new card making video. Since Christmas is right around the corner, I'm busy making my holiday cards for this year. I do need a fair few, so I really like the concept of just making several of like a similar design so that it cuts down on the overall time you need to make your cards. So I made a trio of cards using the Mice on Ice by Fawn. And I started by making my sparkly pond. I used Salvaged Patina and Peacock feathers on Bristol smooth cardstock. And then I'm using Nouveau Moonstone Glimmer Paste. And I'm just using a palette knife to spread that all over. And everything I'm doing 3 times. So I'm coloring the amount of images for 3 cards. I'm ink blending all the panels 3 times so that I would end up with 3 fairly similar cards. And for the sky, I'm using Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, and Prize Ribbon Oxide. I wanted it to be like a nice bright winter sky. Just blending the colors back and forth. And then I also wanted it to be like a snowy backdrop, so I added splatters of white paint, then also some silver metallic paint and gold metallic paint. Just adding lots of splatters on all of the panels, and I set those off to dry. Off camera, I die cut the stitched scalloped rectangle frames from Fawn, and I added those to a card base. Then I laid in the panel with the sparkly pond. I'm adding the sky panel on top. And I'm not really worried about the transition because I'm going to add the pond frame and the mountain range in the back. The mountains are actually from the shadow box card add-on, the mountain add-on, because I wanted those to be smaller than in the mountain border dies. Then I'm just adding the little snow caps. I ink blended those with a tiny bit of salvaged patina, just whatever was left on my brush, so that they have a nice blue hue. And then I'm gluing on the outside of the pond so that it's nicely framed. I'm coloring all of my images as usual with my Copic markers. I stamped out lots and lots of little mice, and I'm using neutral grays. Usually I love to color my mice with E50 markers, but I figured for a cool toned winter scene I should give gray mice a try. So I'm using N9 and N7 and N5 on the little skating boots, and I'm using N5 N7, N5, N3, N1, and N0 for the body of the mice. I try to keep them still fairly light because I don't like my images to be too dark. I'm just showing the coloring of one of the images, one of the mice, because I did color all of them exactly the same way, and just to save a little bit of time in the video because I spent quite a bit of time coloring this little army of mice. And I wanted the windows and the lampposts to have a nice golden hue, and I didn't want to go yellow because I didn't have anything else yellow on the card. So I just decided to use the same metallic watercolor paint that I used for the splatters in the background, and I thought that would really go together nicely, and it was a really pretty effect. I am also using the same neutral grays for the houses. I'm using N7, N5, and N3 for the roofs, and I'm using N0 and N1 for the main part of the buildings. And I decided to make all the doors red and one of the roofs for the trio of houses. Just added a little bit of shading there. Then I'm starting with R39 as my darkest red shade, blending that out with R37. I'm just going in coloring the little step in front of that one house because I forgot to color it. Then R37, R35, and R32. And this is one of my favorite cherry red combinations. It's so pretty. The R32 is quite far away from the R35, but I do think it looks nice. And then I also wanted a more salmon colored combo on the card. So I just used the same combination. I just added in the R30 and I left out R37 and R39 to keep the combination lighter. I also added some teal to match the background and the pond. And then I'm using G43, 46, and 28 to color in the Christmas trees. I'm using E70 markers for the tree stumps, and then it was already time to assemble my cards. I just played around with the layout off camera so that I would know what could go where. And then I'm just using, for all of the images except the mice, I'm using liquid glue, just adding them all around the scene. Also adding the two lampposts. I decided to leave the lampposts off the card with the smallest house. So I figured it has 3 houses, so it could do with 2 lampposts. And then I'm adding my mice with foam squares. Just fiddling around so that I would get a placement that I liked. I did the exact same thing for the other 2 cards off camera, just to cut down on the video time a little bit. Then as a finishing touch, I'm also adding lots of Stardust stickles on all of the cards. I'm adding it to the snow-capped mountains, the snow on the houses, and also on the little Christmas trees so that they have some sparkle. These cards are truly like full-on glitter. The sparkly pond and the stickles just give it such pretty shine, and you can never have too much glitter, right? I had so much fun making these, and there you can see all 3 of them. And I had so much fun making them, and I loved making basically kind of the same card, but they're all a little different. I varied the shape of the pond, I changed out the little houses I'm using, and also what mice I'm using from the stamp set. And I just thought that was a really nice way to create multiples but not have identical cards, and I enjoyed that a lot. I will be back soon with a brand new crafty video, and I hope you'll join me then. Until then, I wish you an amazing day. Bye!